Welcome to today's podcast. And today I am joined by an amazing person. She is a client of mine. She also runs a marketing agency, and she's none other than Jo Sharma. Thanks for joining us today, Jo.
Good morning, Victor. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Thanks for giving your time and educating people about, how marketing can help, because I think it's a very key topic. Before we jump into marketing, just tell us a little bit about your story, how you got here, what you're about. I know you do dancing and music. So tell us a little bit more about that.
I'm originally from England. I've been in Australia about 20 years now. And about 10 years ago, I started my business. I've got a husband I met in Australia and two little girls. I love music, dancing, and eking as much fun as I can out of life.
Nice. So I think those are really good things to have. I've been trying to learn a musical instrument. I'm very not artsy, so it's taking a little bit long, but that's fine. We'll keep going. So before we jump into marketing, because I think, as we're just mentioning before now, as we're talking about marketing, it should be generally an investment. People look at it sometimes as a cost, okay? But it should be an investment to get into where you want to go to. Before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about personal financial planning and your journey with that. So how has working on your personal finances helped shape the way you run your business?
So I think, because I do like to have a bit of fun, I felt like through my personal finances, when we, as we've gone through our careers, we might start earning more money. We tend to find ways of spending that money and didn't really have a lot of a plan in place. And so just starting to understand a little bit more about myself, my own behavior and patterns around money. And obviously working with yourself has just meant that we start to put a plan in place, and which has just been really helpful to have structure around what we have, what should be put away, what's for the future, what's for now. Just have a strategy around the way that we run our personal finances, which has trickled through into how I can now run my business, and just help to have that clarity to be able to prioritize my time. So I can say, okay, this is what where I can earn the most return on investment, which would basically be working on the business. And so how do I structure my day and structure my time so that I do have some free time and I do have time for my children, but I'm also really prioritizing my business.
Yeah. No, you've definitely mentioned a few things there. And I think the key thing I said is the structure, Sometimes getting help in other aspects can free you more time to then specialize in what you do best and actually give you more structure around that. So no, it's good that has added some value there for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that with, having more structure in personal finances now, you have the ability to focus more on business, take more risk, maybe even expand? What has been your thought process with that?
Yeah, it's definitely given me space. I've got certain structures around my time so that, my youngest daughter is high need. And so being able to make sure that she's got the right support so where I can focus more on the business and given me that time. So having that time, having that prioritization around where I need to focus has really allowed me to be able to have that security and build the business. And so that I can, we're looking at hiring somebody at the moment. And I feel like, even, 6 months ago, that wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I think that time really, really helps. And sometimes it might not even be time to work more on the business. It might just be time to relax. I think
bit of both. Yeah. I'm trying to structure the extra time that I've worked into my week. Most of it I tend to do work on the business, but I'm trying to make that extra time productive, whether it's more strategic thinking or, like you say, maybe a little bit of downtime as well, which without the children. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So diving into marketing, look, I think, I was listening to this podcast the other day, and I think you had Brett Kelly in there, or another person anyway, but he was talking about how, you can really your amount of growth when you market properly. Okay. So I guess the question is, when you're helping businesses execute or rather put together a marketing plan, how does that contribute to the world building of the business for the owners? What do you think is that impact to them and the business?
Yeah, I mean, I think without one, you sort of keep trundling along doing what you're doing, and it's hard to know, are you winning? Are you getting ahead? And it's a bit hard to plan for the future. I think if you have a really clear strategy that sets out your goals, you know what you're trying to achieve, and then has the plan on how you're actually going to deliver on those goals, then it means you can be accountable for those actions on a weekly, daily basis so that you actually get there. So rather than just coming up with a target saying, I want to make $1 million and then going, did I get there or didn't I get there? And it just being a guesswork. Having that strategy sets out the framework for how you're actually going to deliver on that and make sure that you can make it happen.
Yeah. I think with marketing as well, business owners sometimes want to achieve different things. Some people want to achieve exposure. Some people want to actually increase that bottom line. So it's sitting down with them and really understanding this, because for someone like me, because I know you're helping me, is really getting out there and showing people what we can do, but at the same time helping that bottom line. So how do you communicate that to business owners as to the return on investment for them? Well, what does that look like for different business owners?
Yeah, you're right. There are sort of competing priorities, and it depends where you are in your stage of business. Some clients are very much focused around awareness and reputation and getting their name out there, where the others are much more driven about direct results. If for those clients that are focused on direct results in an immediate, we don't want to sort of forget about the whole digital ecosystem and make sure that is still growing, even though that can take a little bit longer and not drive those direct results. So I tend to start with a paid campaign that will start to deliver results. And then once those results start coming in, then get that return on investment to invest more long-term strategies. So whether it might be making sure your website's really well converting, it's got all the information, it answers all the questions that your customers might have, and you're got great content, making sure all of your channels are working together, which can take a little time. So yeah, I think sometimes those quick win campaigns can help sort of lead us into that, so you get a best of both worlds.
I think one of our very first meeting, I think it's been over a year now, but one of our very first meeting, you described the ecosystem as drumming and humming behind. So the drumming is that the ads, putting out and making some noise. The humming is just slowly building some organic search. Is that how you would relate? Yeah. Or did I totally get the drumming?
No, I use the drumming. So the business is called Drum Digital. So we kind of have a bit of a musical theme, but with the humdrum thing, that was kind of for a content strategy. Okay. So your hum is your ongoing, regular content that's around your key services or content areas that you specialize in. The drum might be I'm thinking of it musical notes. It's the constant going. That's the little ones that sort of pop up, which are more, maybe it's new hires, might be key events, conferences you're speaking at, things that you might want to have a bit more of a splash about. And then you're seeing the big kind of crescendo pieces, which might be like really large promotions or campaigns around lead generation or something like that you might be running, that you want to have a full campaign around.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the layers of different content strategies.
Yeah. I feel like musical people would just love this. Like, yes, get me some drum and humming in my business. Okay, I think sharing an example as well as to a client you've recently helped would be good, because people then fully understand, okay, what kind of businesses do you help? How has that actually increased the wealth for these business owners?
Yeah. So a client that we've been working with for a few years now, they came to us where they had a website that had it looked beautiful, but it just hadn't been optimized for search engines, which just meant that the crawlers weren't able to crawl it, and it just wasn't discoverable online. So we took over that site and basically optimized it for search engines to make sure that it can be very easily read. Made a few other enhancements and started a content strategy along with regular social posting. And really most of the activity was around optimizing the site as much as we could for search engines. And we were able to deliver they're a law firm, so we were able to deliver their target of new matters in terms of inquiries through the website I think we got there after about 4 months of work optimizing the site. We got to that result and were able to just 100% increase the traffic through to their website. So from being pretty much undiscoverable, now they get a good strong number of matters coming through every month, and they're not spending any dollars on advertising.
You're not spending any dollars?
No, they have a small marketing budget which focuses on SEO and content, but not any paid activity, and they're still meeting their lead target.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's good. I think with that as well, you mentioned the key thing, which many people may not think about, because your website may look good, but, is it actually doing what it has to do in terms of search engine optimization? Because looking good is one thing. Actually getting people on there is another thing. And I think even if I take that further, because I might look at a website, it looks good, okay, and I'm on there, and maybe I might want to book, but if it doesn't make sense to me, then I probably wouldn't book and go ahead. So that's where people like you can actually come in. Because I think when whoever created that website back then for them, probably looks good.
Yes.
You should get you would get, your outcome, but then nothing.
No, exactly. Yeah, you can have the most beautiful, stylish website, but if when people put your either your brand name in or the services that you offer, you don't come up in a search result. That organic traffic is such a big part. We really hope clients can get over 50%, between sort of 60 and 70% of your traffic from organic search, which just means you're getting free traffic. Yes, it'd be great to have lots of other paid activity going on as well. But if you've got it getting the lion's share for free, then you're not having to pay so much for your marketing.
Yeah. And you also mentioned that you've worked with these clients for years and you're a law firm. How big is this law firm? And, how does that optimization or that change in strategy work for them? Or what do you do for them over, years or months? What does that look like?
In terms of what we work on for them?
Yeah. So one, how big is that law firm? What's it? And I think second question is, I know you'd change strategy or optimize things because SEO, it changes from time to time.
Yes.
So what does that look like?
Yes. So the original project was really around optimizing the site, which was a project. The law firm has got about, I think they're between 20 to 40 staff. They're based just around the corner up in North Sydney. So I'd probably say they're kind of large, small to medium size business, law firm. So the project was focused around the technical SEO fixes initially. And from an ongoing basis, we make sure that the site's maintained, there's no issues in terms of plugins expiring, things like that, so they're not vulnerable to hacks. We do all their content strategy, so any kind of social media posting, blog articles. We're not doing paid for them, but we have run a couple of paid campaigns, Google AdWords, which is quite expensive for law firms, and we've run a social media campaign as well.
Okay, yeah, I think the social media posting is a big one as well. In such a firm with 20 plus people, you definitely need someone like yourself to actually help them get it done properly. Because all those people are probably very technical in that legal space, but in terms of investing in marketing, might not be the right size yet for them to have an in-house.
Exactly, person. And they're always very busy. And I think that's the relationship I have with that particular client is we set the plan for each month around what activities we're going to do, and we get on and do it so that they can just rest assured that their marketing's taken care of without too much involvement. It's not too hands-on from their perspective. It doesn't take too much of their time because they're busy lawyers and they've got things to do, so they don't need to be too involved with the work that we do, and we just get on with it. So I always preach about comparative advantage, getting someone specialized in a certain field to help you do something versus you trying to figure it out and then do it and then do that yourself. So in terms of in your experience, how can business owners use the stability of their financial planning, to take calculated risks in businesses, such as launching new marketing campaigns or expanding into new areas? How do you feel that may have helped you, or what would your advice be to, business owners there who
who are focusing on the wrong things.
In terms of their marketing strategy or in terms of financial planning?
Yeah, so in terms of, when they have sorted out your financial planning and then they're now using that time to then work on the business.
Okay.
But they shouldn't actually be working on the marketing strategy. They should be getting someone like you
I see.
to help them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the power of outsourcing and understanding where your skill sets sit. For me, I love marketing. I'm not a financial planner, which is why we work with you, and which has been so important to know where our future's headed and being able to plan for that, which is helps us sleep better at night. And the same goes for marketing. Like there's so much that is on the table in terms of marketing. There's a million different technologies and softwares and channels and new systems and AI and solutions out there that it's quite complex to try and know where to start. And so having a really clear strategy where you go, where are my customers? How are they currently finding businesses like mine? That's the priority, and that's where the strategy needs to begin. And having that thinking done so that you know that the work that's going to be done is actually the work that really matters, that's going to account for you and your business. So there's no wastage, and that the activities that are being worked on actually count to drive your business. So I think having the time to free up your own headspace to focus on what you're good at is always going to be beneficial if you can outsource where you can.
Yep. So, Jo, I think just talking about when a business owner comes to you and they want something done, okay, and you, from your expertise, know from a marketing perspective, it may not work. What does that process look like? How do you persuade them to do what is best for them to make that investment that would actually benefit them?
Yeah, so it happens a lot. We often get people, call up and say, can you do some Facebook ads? Or I'd like to run a campaign on TikTok or whatever it might be. The latest and greatest new thing often is the one that they want to do. And so I think that's it's a good opportunity to have a conversation about, again, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? Who's your target audience and where are they? And that's really what we offer as an agency, is really looking at that strategic solution to make sure that the strategy is a right fit for you and your audience. So yes, it might be a TikTok strategy, but we would we're not a one service agency where we just, if you've got for example, you were asking for SEO, you've got an SEO problem. Like if your SEO is great, we move on from that and go, well, where are the other opportunities? Where are the gaps? And what needs to be filled so that we can make sure that the solution is the right one for you that will help you grow. So yeah, it's often not what clients first think that they might need. They might, we might go into the data and start to see actually there's some other issues over here that need to be addressed first. And, you could spend some money on a paid campaign, but they're never going to convert because there's something wrong with the website, for example. So looking at holistically what the business is trying to achieve, who their target audience is, and how their current channels are set up, we can then really work out what's the right next step.
Yeah. So I think even just relating it to that law firm you spoke about, obviously you said you're not doing any paid ads for them. Did they initially come and want paid ads? Or they actually, what was the story there?
No, they actually came because they just dropped some money on a new site. And,
nice looking site.
And yeah, it looked lovely, but the referrals and leads were coming through the inquiries coming through, and the new matters had dropped.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, interesting. And I guess if we're talking about your kind of clients or clients that work well with your agency, are they legal firms or what do they look like? Service-based?
Service-based businesses. We specialize in B2B. We've got clients across law firms, med tech, manufacturing, and property.
Okay. Yeah. So from that manufacturing perspective, that's them just selling
like a widget. Okay. Like widgets in part of the manufacturing process.
Yeah. That would be very different to actually working with a service-based business, right?
Yes. Often there is, like for this particular example, it's talking to engineers around, so that they still might be doing some research, and so for them it's still around content marketing and getting their name out there as in terms of the projects delivered and solutions. Yeah. So, but it's still kind of that B2B space.
Yeah. In the finance world, we love working with engineers because they're very detailed. So they'll come and want everything. 1 + 1 equals to 2 and stuff like that. So it's good because sometimes in finance we can actually definitely show them what it looks like, but sometimes it's just art, So I can imagine with those manufacturers for their campaigns and their strategy, was it mainly art, or did they get the results they wanted straight away? Or
so a lot of that was around making sure that their site is really well optimized again for those engineers that have a very high level of like specifications and details and what all the numbers and the facts. Whilst also doing some lead generation around and content marketing, and really similar to the engineers. I'm thinking the medtech client that we're working with at the moment, their target audience are IVF clinics.
Okay.
So it's like doctors and medical professionals again. So a lot of the work we do with them is more around the brand and awareness of who they are as a company, so that to try and attract investment opportunities and position them as a growing new solution in this space.
Very interesting. So I guess to round off, for those businesses that find marketing a cost, and I think is an investment, what would you say to them? How can we ensure that, if they focus on the right things? Because the key thing about building wealth, right, is if you are able to build your business, you can actually build more wealth. And generally, most businesses are offering a great service, but they may just look good and may not communicate effectively to the outside world. So any advice for them, what would you suggest they do? How should they think about, growing the business and using marketing?
I think starting small. It is a cost if it doesn't work. So you want to make sure that you're getting that return on investment. I think there's so many free tools that you can use to get started on a small scale and just build up. From an SEO's perspective, from social media, like there's so much you can do yourself to start with, and just start to get some runs on the board. And then when you get to a certain point where you've got some business coming in, then I think freeing up your time so that you can focus on what's important to you, that's the time to outsource then.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So Joe, in terms of just another client story, so people can really understand how you help. What is a recent client you've helped? What did that look like before? What did that look like after?
Yeah. So earlier this year, we had a lady that I met at a networking group. And it was a money coach, and she was starting up a new element of her business, which was going to be targeting a different audience and had a very particular set of services. And so we worked together where I looked at who her target audience was. We did a bit of brand work around her mission, vision, values, who she wanted to be, how she wanted to be presented to the world, and very much around the whole brand and all the elements that went into that. So we had really clear positioning, key messaging, language, tone of voice. And as a result of that, we came up with a new brand identity, a look and feel, which she's gone live with earlier this year. And I think it looks really lovely. But it doesn't just look lovely, also very true to who she is. And I think when you see it, you get a very clear idea about exactly who she is and what she stands for. And that really comes through in the look and feel and the styling and the messaging and everything that comes together in that complete brand, which was really lovely to see it all come to life.
Yeah. And I think that's very important as well, because as business owners, you want people that are happy with the look and feel, and then it translates into you as your personality as well. You don't want to communicate one thing on the internet and then it comes to now, it's like, this is a totally different person.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important, because if you asked me as to how I can put my look and feel into marketing, I have no idea. But that's where people add lots of value.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, she's a money coach for women. And a lot of the money coaches for women that are out there have, like, everything's pink. It's quite sickly, quite kind of, I don't know. as a woman in this day and age, you kind of go, it doesn't need to be bright pink to appeal to us. And so, it's a little too obvious. So we really went through quite a different sort of approach, and it's quite a strong, powerful, styling, which is exactly what she wants. It's to be like serious about what she does, and not kind of be, trivial, which I think has come through really nicely.
Yeah, and obviously as connecting that to her wealth, even the wealth of her clients as well, then it's a clear fit, and it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely, because I know she feels really confident now going out with this new arm of her business, armed with all of the collateral that she has to be able to present her brand and who she is, and feel really confident around how that now presents to the world.
Perfect. All right, that is amazing, Jo. Can vouch for your work. I think you do a very good job, and I'm pretty sure she'll be happy with that as well. So nice.
Thank you.
So to business owners out there, and I think even corporate executives who are in a position to make some marketing decisions, I think marketing is a good investment. It definitely helps communicate in easy to understand way to your clients, what you do and how you help. It has been lovely having you on the podcast today, Jo. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
For viewers out there, how can they contact you? How do we find Drum Digital?
Yes, well, hopefully if you type in Drum Digital, we'll rank number one. So on our website, drumdigital.com.au, or you can email me at joanna@drumdigital.com.au.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for joining us today, Jo.
Thank you. Thanks, Victor.